Hi, welcome back to the Positive Prepper. Today I'm going to talk about mutual assistant groups, what we call MAGs. If you're thinking about creating one, these tips are going to kind of help you create that successful group. If you are thinking about joining a MAG, you can use this to make sure that all the important aspects are covered so that um, it's a successful and secure group. And again, I have a kitty. um, I just want to put a disclaimer on here. I've been prepping for over 8 years. My husband and I have. I'm just trying to share my personal knowledge about what I have learned from my journey in prepping. You may think of other things that are more important to you or equally important to you. And that's okay because everybody is different and every mag is going to be different. As long as you're working towards that same goal of survival and able to work together under, intense stress and tension and crisis, then your mag is probably going to be just fine. Another disclaimer is that mag can mean different things to different people. So for some, a MAG is the group of people that you're actually going to be bunkering down with or bugging in with. And that might not just be your immediate family. It might be, friends and family that come in. But it's a MAG can be all the people that you're prepping with together that you plan on riding an SHTF event out with in a secured location. For other people, a MAG might be your external group of people that you are able to barter with for goods and services, or that will come to your defense in a crisis situation. You're basically it's a MAG, but it's more like a community, so that they know that you have strengths in this area, they have strengths in this area, and you trade those goods and services. And you have each other's backs, but you're not necessarily in that same bug out location or bug in location. For this particular video, I'm going to talk about the first MAG. So it's the group of people that you are actually going to be bunkering down with, um, in that secured location to weather the storm that's around you. So, as I've said in many of my videos, you need to have a plan. Uh, this is really, I think, not only with your prepping strategies, but it's also with your MAG either creation or joining another MAG. You need to, and especially if you're creating a MAG, you need to set and define rules in that MAG. You're going to have people coming together that may have never lived together before. Maybe you've shared a lot of the prepping time and you spend a lot of time talking about ideas and expectations, prepping ideas, that type of thing. But maybe you've never actually lived in the same household together. So rules are going to be important to define what the group can and cannot do, as well as consequences for breaking them. And you need to have these rules created before day one. So what I would suggest maybe is getting a binder or a notebook or something and start writing some of the things down. So if you're going to have people outside your family coming in to bunker down with you, this is a very uh, sort of shallow level when it comes to this. Um, but they are very important if you're going to have all of these people coming together, right? So you got to think about things like who's going to be responsible for rationing the food and water and doing the cooking, the cleaning. If you have kids, what are the rules for them? Are they going to have daily chores and responsibilities? How much of the home defense do you allow the kids to have um, activity in or engagement in? Are you going to allow a half-hour shower or a 10-minute shower? What is your water situation? Again, you have to think in the long term. Do you have enough water for everybody to take showers every day? What is that going to look like? Um, One of the hardest things, which as a prepper, and if we ever get in the Mad Max scenario, what are you going to do if you have a 10-year-old kid walking down your driveway? Now, remember, I'm talking, it's hit the fan already. We're in a Mad Max SHTF event. You're bunkering in with your mag. A 10-year-old comes walking down the driveway. What are you guys as a group going to do about that? So you need to talk to the other members and see if you're on the same page with how to handle that situation. Would it make a difference if it was a 6-year-old? Okay, would it make a difference if it was a mother with a young child versus a woman by herself or a man by herself? Um, these are things that you really need to take into consideration and have discussions about to make sure that you're on the same page. Another thing that you're going to have to figure out is how many people it's feasible to support in your space. Okay? You got to remember that hygiene is super important. So if you have overcrowding, if you take in more people than what your space can feasibly hold, that opens you up to a lot of illnesses and diseases. So you have to be very realistic about the number of people that you let in, right? Now, part of the planning of that is looking at your bug out location or bug in location, your secured location, wherever that is, and look at the space. Think about, where is everybody going to sleep? How do we serve the meals? Do we have enough pots and pans and utensils and that type of thing to cook for everybody? Do we, how much more food are we going to have to stack? As preppers tend to say, stack it to the rafters, stack it again. But it has to be a feasible amount of people. If you let everybody in that comes to your door, you may end up running out of food. You may end up running out of clean water if you don't have your catchment systems or a nearby water source. And then you might have more people that are dependent on you that might not necessarily have any assets to help, excuse me, to help you defend or help you out at all in your location. And then you may also let somebody in that violates the trust of the group and puts everybody in danger. So these are some of the things that you need to have a dialogue with the people that are coming into your space. And again, this is if you're creating a mag. But if you're joining a mag, I would have that discussion with them too. What is your plan if a 10-year-old is walking down the driveway, or you have a group of people that need a place? Can we, how many people can we feasibly help? You might want to consider letting people in that would be an asset to the group. And again, this is something that your group will have to discuss. Maybe you find somebody that comes in and they want to be a part of the mag, and they have great living off the land skills, so they know how to set live traps or snares or what have you. Or maybe they have great technology or science, so they can keep your solar power going, or something happens to your gas powered generator, they're able to go out there and fix it. Right? So these are all things that you need to keep in mind as well. You also might have somebody that comes in with a vast medical knowledge. Maybe they're an RN, or, they were studying to be a doctor, they are a doctor, whatever. Um, it fills in those gaps for your group. But no matter what you do, it has to be people that you can trust. We watched a movie. I'm just going to throw this in there. We watched a movie the other day, actually yesterday, and it was one of those apocalyptic movies, right? And it was an awesome movie. It just came out on DVD, and the main tenet of that movie was don't trust anybody, especially in an SHTF event. Because the people that looked like, they were nice and helping and everything ended up not to be so nice and helping. So you've got to trust the people. And if you don't, you're probably not going to want them in your mag. Someone that you ran into 3 weeks ago in the grocery store, and you found out that they had the same like prepping mindset or political mindset or whatever mindset that you have, they're probably not necessarily going to be somebody that's going to protect you, your group, or your supplies. You might consider not letting people in unless they've done their own prepping. I know some groups won't let anybody in unless they have their own 30-day supply of food and water, and they have some kind of a skill or an asset that would be helpful to the group, which, in my opinion, again, this is only my opinion, but securing that secured location, so defense, home defense, your security system, whatever that looks like, is probably number one. Chipping in a bag of donuts does not constitute that they've been prepping. Throwing, a bottle of wine or a package of crackers on the table does not mean that they are preppers. They have to be serious preppers. They have to be already prepping supplies like food, water, boomsticks, freedom seeds, working on their hunting, gathering, whatever skill assets they have. So that being said, in an SHTF event, you have to be prepared to turn people away. How does your group feel about that? Have that conversation. That might even include family, unfortunately. As a Christian, that's something I struggle with. Like, how can I do that? But the reality is, in that situation, I am protecting me and the people that have listened to what we've been telling them. Almost everybody in my family knows where I stand and what I do. It's up to them whether to act on it or not. But, along with that comes the consequences of the choices they make. And I have to leave that to God. So, but these are conversations that you need to have with your mag. Or if you're creating a mag, these are things that you are going to need to sort of set up your boundaries with and write them down. And then as you allow other people into that mag group, you need to continue these types of conversations. You're going to have to make tough decisions. One group that I know, they had a question come up about, well, if we run out of a certain supply and we have to go get it, and we might have to break into a store that's already been broken into, um, and there's other people in there after the same thing, so they had this conversation about, is it okay to shoot, not just go in there with guns blazing, but if you're trying to get out of there with a supply, and that supply is necessary to the survival of your group, what are the lengths that you're going to go to get those supplies? What are you okay with? Very difficult discussions, but very necessary discussions to have. And then lastly, you have to plan things out. So where is your garbage going to go? You cannot stack your garbage outside the house. People are going to know people are living there, right? So you need to have a plan for that. How are you going to manage dirty laundry? Will the rules change depending on the season? Are you going to cut wood all summer, and then what are they going to do in the winter when they're not cutting wood? So what does that look like? What does that chore list or duties and responsibility list look like? Is there a hierarchy, or is it a democracy in the case that a life or death decision has to be made? Got to make that plan. Got to talk about it, right? Again, I would suggest writing these down either in a notebook or in a binder of some kind. And as you think about potential conflicts, write them down. That way, as you allow new people into your mag, you can have these discussions. Or if you're joining another mag, these are conversations you can have with them to see if you are a good fit for them. Now, again, that sounds like a lot of information. Don't get overwhelmed or feel like you're never going to be prepared, because nobody ever is, right? We can only do the best we can, and chances are that's good enough. As I've said in a prior video, we are social creatures. God intended it that way. He didn't intend for us to be alone. That's why he created two people to tend the garden, and why Jesus had 12 disciples. Can you imagine what it would look like if we only had Adam and we only had one disciple, right? But even Adam and Eve and the 12 disciples had rules to follow, right? And so your mag, or the mag that you're joining, should have some of these rules in place starting from day one. So my next video is going to be more about home defense in an in-depth perspective. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe and hit the notification so that you know when my next video is going to be posted. So thanks for watching The Positive Prepper. God bless.